Yes, guys, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. It's Friday, it's lunchtime, and of course, it's Chasing Green Arrows time. Dean, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah. Start of December, start the Christmas rush, and a massive week, isn't it? In FPL, like we got 3 game weeks in a week, basically,
Yeah.
which is going to be pretty mad. We've got to make sure we're well set up for this. We'll be doing our teams later. I think I'm making 2 big transfers this week. I've just been in the last hour. I did a bit of a gap in my work for the day, and I was like, right, I need to look at my team properly in this hour. I think I'm getting rid of at least 1 big hitter, potentially 2, with this next few game weeks in mind, and just switching things around a little bit. I'm not totally happy with how things are looking.
Oh, I look forward to hearing more about that. We'll have our teams later. Of course, we'll be talking about all the reaction to press conferences, which are happening at the moment. We've got Against the Obvious later. We'll take your questions. Hello to everyone in the chat, Bill and Stephen and Tiffany and Rui and Get, FPL Down Unders with us. And Johnny as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Get your questions in. Dean, there's 7 game weeks, I think, in December. It's crazy. We're about to get into silly season of FPL, and with that, we're going to get suspensions and injuries and big point swings, and we'll be making so many big decisions around, transfers, but captaincy too. Like even this week, Haaland versus Salah could be a really big swing because you could go there's not much in it. One of them could blank, and one of them could get 20 points very easily. So we're about to see some big swings, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, feels defining that 7 game weeks across a month, like that is kind of make or break for your season in terms of what you can hope for. It feels like I've slowly moved up towards the million mark from being down towards 2 million like a month or so ago, and I've slowly got green arrows that are pushing me to the million mark, but I still need that big jump. That's why these transfers I've got in mind this week to try and get me over that line and get me looking properly upwards. FPL Down Under says, Gianni, you have altered your camera location. Your background has changed. So, mate, have you redecorated or what's going on here?
Yeah. If anyone knows what that is on the wall behind me, I don't know how obvious it is. I've seen it full size, but anyone know what that is? Is it obvious to you, Dean, what that is?
I know, yeah, because I've seen it too. But
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
hard angle of it.
It's a new background. I'm at Stockley Park, so I am in the building where the VAR would sit, which is pretty cool. For all Premier League
Probably
games.
do a better job, mate, if you want to pop in there.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't know what room. It's a big building, but I'd love to find it, see what it actually looks like. Yeah, so I've just done the fantasy show with friend of the show, Ian Irvin.
Oh, nice.
So the show finished at, I don't know, an hour ago, and I was thinking, usually on a Friday, if I'm staying in a hotel, I'll get to the hotel, set up, ready for Chasing Green Arrows. But this Friday, the Premier Inn that I usually book was in Brentford, was probably 20-30 quid more than it usually is, and I was like, oh, I'm not spending 80 quid. I usually spend 50 on a room somewhere max. So I've booked a travel lodge. Now with travel lodge, one, they won't, I just know they won't let me check into the room early. They'll be like 3 o'clock only. And 2, if I have to go sit in a communal bar at the travel lodge or even in the room, I know the Wi-Fi will be so bad. In fact, I think you have to pay for it, and it's still really bad. So
and it'll be
I'll
noisy.
be tethering off my phone, and it'll be noisy.
Yeah.
So I was like, can I get a room at the Premier League Productions? And they were like, yeah, just use that one. It should be fine. Someone might walk in at any moment, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Absolutely, yeah. Well done, mate. Well done for finding the time. Look, in terms of what we've got coming up today, we're a little bit stuck. Like, I love this time slot, but obviously the downside of this time slot is we haven't had any press conferences. So in the next half hour, Pep and Mauricio Pochettino should be speaking.
Nice.
And then towards the back end of the show, we might get the start of Postecoglou, but we'll probably miss it. And then later on in the afternoon, we'll be hearing from Klopp and Arteta, Ten Hag, and more. So
yeah,
in terms of fresh team news, we're not going to have a lot right now. We can start to dig into what we believe. We can see what has come out in the wash from the Champions League and Europa games.
Yeah,
but we're going to have to be checking out further down the line what comes out of those presses, I'm afraid.
those Thursday night games, sometimes when they play Thursday night, they don't have to do a press conference, do they? They kind of do it post-match. But Emery is forecast to speak today at 2:15.
Yeah.
And I think from all the Thursday night teams, like we're not too fussed about Brighton or West Ham, but we are really fussed about Aston Villa because of the Ollie
Mm,
flag. He was quoted last night. So we do have an update on Watkins in the respect that he's like a little bit of pain. But we decided to rest him was kind of the quote. So it was
yeah.
almost we could have forced him into it, but we didn't want to, and we
Yeah.
just stay at home, Ollie Watkins. We're not going to put you in the match day squad. So FPL have seen that and flagged him, which is accurate and fair. But I also think it's unlikely to be a flag come Saturday. I think Ollie Watkins will probably be, or Sunday be fine. But Emery, I guess we'll get another question to him on 2:15 today. I don't know, Dean. Do you know off the top of your head? Is Emery one of those managers that gives us BS like a Howe or a Moyes, or is he like many other European managers where they're a little bit more honest in their press
I
conference?
don't know that he'll commit to Watkins playing here, but I think Watkins will play. I
Yeah,
think from reading between the lines of what's been said already, I've got Watkins in my team, obviously, and I'm sticking with him.
yeah.
I'll have a good first sub ready just in case, but I think as Baz just says, literally now, he'll be fine. He just needed a rest. I get the feeling that that's it. It wasn't a fixture that was ever felt like he was going to be super needed in anyway, and it was a good time to give him that break, like you've just mentioned. Like especially this week ahead, it's a mad week. Aston Villa are
Yeah,
really well positioned in the Premier League now.
yeah.
So yeah, they're in a really good spot. So I think Ollie Watkins starts.
The schedule for Watkins, Villa a bit like Liverpool and I think maybe Newcastle. Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday from this weekend. So it's their schedule's not been kind to them. So yeah, Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. Ollie Watkins is about to play 3 games in 6 days. I understand why he was rested. For the same reason, Darwin didn't start last night for Liverpool. And
Yeah.
same reason Mo Salah came off at 50 minutes. It's because we're about to get into high congestion. Johnny Cairns, take a bow. Love
Go on,
that.
Johnny. That's the way to kick things off. Everyone give us a tenner.
Every single one.
Thank you.
That is
That's
very
very
generous,
kind, mate.
Johnny. Johnny, have you got an FPL question for us? If you have, then get it in. We'll answer your questions all day for a tenner, mate.
that's,
Um,
that's what our day rate is, mate.
but yeah, very, very kind of you, fellow chaser there, Johnny Cairns. And I'm guessing, Johnny, you're in the UK. Few jars makes me think you're maybe in the UK, maybe a southerner. Is jars a southern thing? I think it might be.
Yeah, I think I'd imagine he is, unless he's
Yeah.
Australian or something like that. But yeah, I think probably is. Yeah, let us know if you've got a question, Johnny.
Cairns
Somebody
is a
just
Australian city, isn't it?
yeah, maybe
Uh,
maybe that's where it's
and that
from.
spelling of Johnny, is that an English spelling or is that as Johnny spelt right aways
So
regardless?
there's two ways of it. Yeah, it's funny because my little boy Dylan, he's got a best friend called Johnny, and he has an H in his name, and Dylan cannot work out for the life of him why he's got an H in the middle of his name. Like that doesn't make any sense to him. The way that he's just been taught to spell at school. Johnny can explain whether he likes the constant having to explain how his name is spelled. Mark's asked about West Ham. He said, "I'm fussed about West Ham. Is Moyes speaking today?" Yep, he is. After 1:30 today, we'll be hearing from David Moyes.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. And Eddie Howe did speak earlier. Howe was asked about Botman, which is really
Oh, yeah. What did
important
he say?
because Lascelles is important and so is Botman. Some have still got Botman. They're like, do I sell him? And others
Mm,
have got Lascelles or want to buy Lascelles. And we know
yeah,
as soon as Botman is back, Lascelles is out the team. But he said he's weeks away. So we know he's not going for surgery, like because originally the plan, the thought was, oh, will he, won't he, in terms of surgery.
yeah,
Doesn't look like that's happening. I'm going to, the actual quote was Sven Botman is not training, but reacting really well to his individual program. So it sounds like weeks rather than days. It sounds like there's still a very good chance Lascelles could go up to Christmas, but perhaps not too much more than that. So for the immediate, like Lascelles is a great own, but for the long term, well, if Botman was going required surgery, Lascelles is a great own. Knowing he doesn't, probably not the best in terms of someone you want to set and forget for the next couple of months.
yeah.
Livramento, you know you're going to get till I think Burn is forecast out till mid-Jan, And even the way Livramento's playing, you can't guarantee Dan Burn comes back in at left back. We know Botman comes back in at centre back when he's fit. As good as Lascelles has been, he's not going to take his place.
No, absolutely that. Yeah, but Newcastle's a tricky one, and this game, to be honest, confuses me a lot. I'm very conflicted about what to feel about Newcastle against Man United. I don't know how many goals to expect. I don't know which team is actually in the best moment. Actually, like obviously, Man United's Champions League form and Premier League form is very conflicting. I assume it's randomness. I don't think there's a reason for it necessarily, but maybe there is, and maybe Man United can keep another clean sheet. Onana hasn't kept. Onana in the Premier League hasn't let goal in for a month.
That's
like,
crazy.
It's madness. So I'm kind of like trying to work out how I separate these two things, because part of me is like, well, there's a few good Man United assets opening up here for not a lot of money. You've got potentially Onana coming back in, Maguire, Garnacho, maybe even McTominay if you want another filler in there. Like, there's a few options. Luke Shaw's back now, and he's completely changed the way that you view Man United. If him and Haaland can actually strike something up, then that is another facet to his game that's going to be really intriguing. So, yeah, I think that is something that I'm trying to get my head around at the moment. I think my hunch is that I back the Newcastle end of things, but to be honest, my main thing is like, I'm just convinced I need Anthony Gordon. Like, that's still my big take at the moment. He's been involved in 6 goals in his last 7 Premier League games. He's been involved in 4 goals, 2 assists. So he's my like go-to Newcastle guy at the moment. And then it's, do you want another 1 or 2 around that? And if so, are you getting punchy on Isak? Are you go to that back line, back Lascelles and or Trippier or Livramento? But yeah, really tricky call.
We just did a comparison this morning on the fantasy show of Burmo versus Gordon. There's not a great deal in it, considering there's over $1 million in price in it. So in terms of value, you look at it and go, well, both are superb picks. Both are so good. And actually, there's an argument to say one could be your 4th midfielder and one your 5th in the 3-5-2. But yeah, Gordon's been amazing. And Newcastle's, I think, most reliable attacking performer this season. So the fixtures look good enough for Newcastle. From I think around game week 17, 18, they look really good. They've got a nice run of like 3 or 4 games. By the way, we didn't get a response from Johnny Cairns. I reckon he gave us a super chat and then was like out of here. But Johnny, do let us know where you're from.
Mate, that's throwing around money. If you just pop into a YouTube channel, throw him a tenner and then just log off.
Don't even wait for the shout out.
Didn't even wait to hear about it. Yeah.
The mic drop. Vindy says the Johnny Cairns deep dive. I love that. British 87 says Jars. That's not London talk. Oh, maybe I've got that wrong. Michael says I've got mates
down there, and I've heard loads of people say that. I don't know where it's from, but
one of my best mates says Jars.
I've heard loads of people say, "Do you fancy a few jars?" Like, I don't know it's the London thing, but definitely it's said. FPL Down Under says we call them pints or schooners. Is it schooners or schooners? I don't know. I've never been to Australia.
Michael says it's a tinny in Australia.
Yeah.
Well, it is from a can, I guess.
Is a midi. Then we have a pot, which is the smalls. What are you talking about? Like, this is completely lost on me, and I definitely can't go for a beer anytime in Australia soon because I want to know what I'm ordering.
We've got good questions that we'll try and answer later as well in the chat. I see Sokan has said thoughts on Jesus as a Watkins replacement. Reason to swap Watkins for Darwin. I think we're going to have to talk Watkins Darwin later. Shall we move into fresh off the press, Dean, or are we already there?
I think we've covered it.
We're there, aren't we? Yeah.
Else to cover there. Yeah. I think we could probably move on for it to make sure we can fit in other stuff at the back end.
Yeah, it's a good point. We've got loads of team reveals to get through. Mine, Dean's, and of course, we're going to do the chaser team. We've got against the obvious, and we want to have time for your questions.
Yeah,
Dean,
I think the questions is important today.
Just before I go straight to team news, your thoughts on Darwin. Now, not necessarily as a player or even an FPL asset, but your thoughts on Darwin starts. Let me set this one up for you. Last night, Darwin played 30 minutes. He wasn't put in the 11 because the congestion coming up for Liverpool reads Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. The next 3 game weeks for Liverpool are brilliant FPL fixtures. They include Fulham, Sheffield United and Palace. Big Darwin points could be due. But does he start all 3 of those games? Jota's out injured. Gakpo can play on the left or number 9. Or do you think that Sheffield United game in the middle, or maybe even the Palace game, high risk of perhaps a Darwin benching because it's 3 and 6 and he doesn't often do those sorts of schedules?
No, I'm not backing him for 3 starts. No
Are you
chance.
not?
But I think he'll start 2, and I don't think that's the end of the world. Like because of
Yeah.
the opponents, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And I think
He'll
that
get
we have
half an
to.
hour in the one he doesn't start, probably, won't he?
Well, exactly that. And then you've got to weigh up how many people are likely to be able to compete with that in terms of like what their goal opportunities are going to be across a full 3 games or 3 starts compared to what Darwin might get across 2 or 2.5. So there's that to consider. FPL Freddy says Darwin's going to get 5 goals in the next 3. I think that's a fair point. CH wants us to do a poll. Does Darwin
Oh,
start all
nice.
3 games? Happy to
Oh,
throw
good
that
one.
up
Yeah.
there. Yep, let's get that poll going. Let's see if what the community thinks about Darwin starting all 3 games.
I think there's a
FPL.
chance. I think there's a chance because he missed last night. And if he does, let's say he scores a hat trick against Fulham, you're going to want him against Sheffield United away. And again, maybe it's like a 70, a 60, and a 70, and it could be 3 starts. He's definitely not getting 3 sets of 90 like an Ollie Watkins would, though, is he?
No. But then will Watkins get a full night? If Watkins is a risk for the midweek, I don't think Watkins will play a full game at the weekend. I think Watkins will play 60, 70 minutes if he's genuinely like measured to be that much of risk, and knowing that they've got such a packed schedule coming up. Watkins ain't going to play 90 minutes there. So we've got to measure that up too. And Diaby even, like I don't know necessarily with Diaby how many minutes we can guarantee. So that's tricky. There's not many forwards, to be honest, that we can guarantee like 3 lots of 90 minutes across this coming game week. So it's all about measuring really what their goal potential is across the 3 fixtures and kind of take the minutes out of it. That's what I'm going to be doing. Shepherd says Darwin is a bench warmer.
Ouch.
Ouch.
That's the guy I might buy this game week.
Yeah, look. Pete says, will Fulham with Palhinha put up a fight at Anfield, or should we be captaining Salah? Look, it's very, very difficult for me to put up much of an argument that Fulham have got a chance here. Liverpool's home form is devastating so far this season. I think they've matched a record that Kenny Dalglish set in like the mid-80s when he has like 10. Wow. I think it's 10 straight home wins or something like that. I saw Liverpool obviously also have Salah on the verge of making history. He's 1 goal away from 200 Liverpool goals.
He wants that soon.
He's going to get it at the weekend, mate. I mean, it's an absolute guarantee that Salah gets that at the weekend, especially because he's on pens. Like he'll at least get a pen, I'm sure. Fulham on the pitch haven't been convincing. Struggling defensively. I wonder if we'll make a change at the back for this one. But look, Palhinha's brilliant, but he can't stop Liverpool on his own. And actually, look, Fulham fans might not even be at this game because there's train strikes that make it impossible to get from London to Liverpool for this fixture on Sunday. And so there's loads of fans who I don't know will even bother going with that disruption because it's already a big ask. Like I say, like Dylan, my little boy, wanted to go to Fulham at Liverpool, and it's a Sunday at 2:00. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going all the way to Liverpool. And this is when there was trains, on a train and watching us lose 3-0, barely have a shot and coming home. And that is that like, honestly, on Monday night at Fulham Wolves, at half time, the place was so flat. Every fan was just like, what's happened to us? Like, how are we going to even win this game, let alone the ones coming up? And obviously, like a bit of drama with VAR and we get over the line, but very difficult to say that Fulham can get anything out of it. And more than that, when I was sat there doing my hour of tinkering my team, I have to say my finger was hovering over that Salah captain button.
Ooh, okay. Interesting. Well, we've just had the results from the poll from the Darwin one. So let's do another poll. Are you captaining Haaland or Salah? Let's see, because this isn't for the community team. This is for your team, because I think it's going to be pretty split, especially off the back of what Dean said. In terms of the Darwin start, 66% of you think he won't start all 3, which is interesting. So we're split there. It's about a third think he will. Just looking at the TV games in England, Dean, Sunday, that Liverpool game versus Fulham, Chelsea play Brighton at the same time. Neither of those 2 games are televised, but West Ham Crystal Palace is. Great.
Honestly, I couldn't believe it when I saw that. Like, I assumed, to be honest, it was the Chelsea Brighton one that was going to be on. I didn't think it would. But I was like, well, if it's not that, it's got to be Liverpool.
Yeah.
He's not. He's
West
not.
Ham. I genuinely probably won't watch that. Like, I have very little interest in that fixture. I mean, Man City Spurs after though, that will be a cracker. Super
Afterwards, there's a
Sunday.
good one. Yeah, so that's something. But Mark says Fulham went to the Emirates and came away with a 2-2.
Oh, you were there for that?
I was there for that, Mark, and all I can tell you is yes, Palhinha had an absolute worldie, but so did Leno in goal, and Arsenal just were not firing that day. They had chances to score 3 or 4 in that match, and Saka, I think Martinelli, both of them missed golden opportunities in that match, which if similar chances presented to this list of Liverpool forwards, I don't expect to be missed, to be honest. Like that's my pessimistic Fulham fan point of view, unfortunately, right now. I'm finding it very difficult to say anything else. Haaland is winning the vote, though, like overwhelmingly so.
Yeah, I mean, it's Haaland at home. Straight away, like when Haaland has a good home fixture, we often back him. City are flying at the moment. City and Haaland played Tuesday, so in terms of recovery time, more so than Salah, who played Thursday as well as Liverpool on Thursday. The 4 fullbacks, although you could argue Ben Davies is a centre back, and Eric Dyer could play, but Aston Villa had a lot of chances against Spurs. I'm expecting Haaland to get a lot of chances against Spurs. So yeah, I mean, I'm on Haaland captain, and I'm set on that. But there's loads of reasons to go Salah too.
I think that the thing that scares me the most is kind of like hat-trick potential with this one, because like Haaland scoring against Tottenham 3 times is quite a big ask. I don't feel like Salah scoring 3 against Fulham is as big an ask.
No.
And like, yeah, that's kind of how I'm measuring this, and that's what's scaring me about going away from this thing. Where I was like, I'm not moving from Haaland. That captain's armband is staying on him. It's still there at the moment. I didn't press the button, but I was seriously considering it. FPL Down Under says how much are Fulham missing Mitrovic? I mean, like, I don't know. Like, how much would you miss Miss World if you were married to her and she left you? You'd miss her a lot.
Someone
like,
clip
honestly,
that. Someone clip that.
I can't even describe how much Fulham miss Mitrovic. He genuinely has been irreplaceable for us.
And you didn't really go all out to replace him with quality. I mean, you look at Vinicius, you look at Jimenez, you're like, oh, you're scraping the barrel with those two. Like, there's a lot of better number 9s in the Premier League than Vinicius and Jimenez. Like, if you're ranking the number 9 from each club, I reckon a Fulham number 9 probably comes in at 18 or 19.
Oh, mate, 100%. Yeah, we don't have it, and that's a massive problem. So Sean says Jackson scored 3 against Spurs. Mate, stop
it's 9 men.
Stop it.
Let's move on the Jackson note to our teams. We're going to show Dean's team, my team, and then your team. It's community team time. Polls are plenty. CH will be helping us out in the chat with her suggestions and most common suggestions from you guys in the chat as well. Matchda says, I also miss Mitrovic. Greetings from Serbia. Nice to know we've got Serbia representing in the chat. Guys, stay tuned. Likes and subscribes during this 5-second credit. Here we go. So 2 free transfers, Dean, but no money in the bank. You're thinking of, aren't you?
I'm thinking of going big here. So I think I'm going to get rid of Son.
Oh, that is big.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Martinelli.
Well, I've thought that was my initial thought. I was like, can I get Martinelli out and replace him with maybe like Luis Diaz? Because Luis Diaz is in decent form, actually. And his
family are all watching him.
His family's all here. And I'm still thinking, actually, Luis Diaz could be a good pick. But I'm also thinking Saka's quite a good pick.
Right.
And I'm also wanting to upgrade my goalkeeper. Or Gehi. Yeah. I've got this Palace double.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Now, obviously, I have the potential of taking, say, Gehi out of the picture here and putting in LSLs or Baldock.
Mm-hmm.
I could do that, but I don't know. I'm really torn over what to do here. But
Johnson needs to go at some point, though, doesn't he? Because you can't. Turner's not starting, and is it after Bournemouth? The Palace fixtures from Liverpool onwards.
They're awful.
So you're definitely going to want to
So I've
make a
got to get rid of
goalkeeper
him.
transfer at
Yeah,
some
like
point.
Gehi I can live with, especially as I've
Yeah,
got
you can bench
rotators and
him.
whatever. I can bench him. But I think Johnston needs to go.
I agree with that.
And so I don't know. I can't. Looking at what's happened to Tottenham in the last few weeks, I still don't think they're playing badly. I still think they could cause surprises. Look, it wouldn't completely surprise me if Spurs went and got something against Man City. I mean, since Pep Guardiola arrived at Man City, the team he's dropped the most points to, I think, is Tottenham. I think Tottenham have picked up more results against Man City than anyone else in this Pep era. But they're really up against it. They've got so many absences. They go into Etihad where it's so hard to get anything anyway. And so I don't feel like it's the worst moment to lose Son. And then, so what do? Do I bring in a Liverpool or Arsenal midfielder and then strengthen my goalkeeper? Possibly even go, I don't know, David Raya even? Like maybe even
Yeah,
get something like that to double up as an Arsenal defence and give me that rather than a Palace double defence.
yeah.
Kind of where I'm going with it.
I like Raya shout. I mean, Kelleher's the one people will mention in the chat. He's only going to play for the next perhaps 4 game weeks, maybe even fewer, maybe even 3. But you could go
Yeah.
Turner to Kelleher and keep Johnson. But then when Kelleher's back out the team, you're relying on Johnson during a tough fixture run. So I think it's better just to go just Johnson to a Raya or a Sanchez,
or a Sanchez.
and then you just hold them to your next wild card.
Yeah, exactly. Now, obviously, I've already got 2 Arsenal players, so if I can't bring in Saka and Raya, so I can't actually make both of those moves. Martinelli, I was convinced I was going to take out, and then when he scored that goal in midweek, I was like,
That was a good goal.
It's a good goal, and he's got Wolves at home next, and I'm wondering if he like uses it as a moment. So like that's where I'm having a little bit of conflict in my head. Also, I can't go Martinelli to Saka, so I totally lose
Right.
my Arsenal attacking options. So that, yeah,
You could
there's
keep
a lot.
Son and sell Alvarez. You could go Johnson to Raya because then you needed to find a little bit of money, and Alvarez to, I don't know, Solanke.
That scares me, knowing that Alvarez has got like Villa, Luton. Nah, I don't want to lose him because everyone is jumping off of Alvarez.
True, he's a nice differential. Ian
kind of
said
feeling
the
like
same earlier. He needs Haaland, and I said, "Oh, you're going to sell? Are you going to find a way of selling Alvarez and getting Haaland? He's going to take a hit." He was like, "No, I want both. It's a really good differential having both, and you're the same."
Yeah. Everyone, can you stop that, please? Stop that.
CH will have you.
Yeah, we don't need that in the chat. We'll answer your question if you just ask it once, but we don't really need that. About and my please. But yeah, so that's basically where I'm at, and I'm gonna have to clearly weigh this out. Also, I was going to say to you, what do you think? I've got Palmer on the bench at the moment.
Oh yeah, it's a good fixture for him, Brighton. I reckon.
Good fixture, isn't it? It's a good
because
fixture.
they were away on Thursday night, a long trip back from Athens. They're going to be tired,
mate. They've got no players.
And no Lewis Dunk either.
They've got, I think, 11 players like unavailable for this weekend. Brighton.
Yeah,
it's huge. Like Ansu Fati's out now. Like they've got problems piling up, Brighton. But there's obviously this narrative, like Brighton are Chelsea's feeder club, but they still go and beat them. Like there is this thing, and like is De Zerbi a better coach than Poch, and is he the next one that gets poached and all the rest of it? But Cole Palmer and Raheem Sterling are probably the 2 Chelsea players that you would actually back for having form right now. And I don't really want him on the bench, but where does he fit in to that midfield, especially if I am getting Son out and bringing in? I'll tell you something I considered: putting Son on the bench and bringing Palmer in.
I prefer that and holding
Son. You?
Because I think I do. I'd be tempted to bench Gordon or Son and start Palmer or Alvarez, but I'd want to start Palmer for sure. And I don't think there's a good enough replacement for you to sell Son, unless it is Saka you're buying and you want that triple Arsenal outfield rather than Raya. If you're not buying Saka, there's no reason to sell Son. And even then, I prefer Son to Saka.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, you might have convinced me to do that then.
And in the goalkeeper one's the move you need to make, which you've got, but then you just need the funds somewhere. So maybe Martinelli downgrade. Well, how much is Lewis? You mentioned Luis Diaz. I like that call. Could you go Martinelli to Luis Diaz?
Is 7.3, I think. Yeah, I think I can go
Martinelli to Diaz, Johnson to Raya. You'd have just about
Yeah,
enough.
7.4 Diaz. Yeah, so I can do that. Yeah, I can do that.
You could do that by exact money, I think,
I think
or by
exact.
0.1.
I'm going to try and do it right now as we're speaking. But
Yeah, I like that. Mate. Luis Diaz is such a good differential. He's another one. Last night, I think he got like 50. So again, he's primed, ready. He might not start all three of those 3 and 6, but he'll start 2, and he'll feature in the third.
okay, so I've got it primed here to press confirm. I've got David Raya in goal, and I've got Luis Diaz in for Martinelli.
I like that. Just don't confirm it until we've heard from Emery.
No, I'm not actually going to press confirm. But
Imagine.
obviously, it leaves me without an Arsenal attacker.
Yeah, it does. But I think
But
Arsenal have disappointed. I know in the Champions League they just scored 6 goals, but in the Prem they've been disappointing.
yeah, okay, cool. Let's move on
Let's
to yours,
do it
Mike.
like that. Let's have a look at my team. Also 2 free transfers, bit of cash in the bank. I'm definitely doing Diaby to Mbomo. I probably should have done it early in the week because there was price rises, but I just thought with European football, a Salah, a Saka, a Haaland, a Watkins, any of these guys could have got injured. Watkins maybe is. I don't think he will be, but it's just about having more information. So I've missed out on the price rise again. And Bomber went up twice last week, once already this week. He could rise tonight or tomorrow. So I'll buy him before the next one. But Diaby to Mbomo, the big question for me is, do I then also go Watkins to Darwin? Now, I was thinking about this move, and I was 50-50 on this move before I heard about the Watkins injury. Now, I think Watkins will be fine and he'll play, but knowing he's carrying something and knowing his schedule is 3 and 6, I just question that he could get now the same minutes as Darwin over the next 3 game weeks.
Yeah.
If Darwin and Watkins get the same minutes, Darwin comes out on top all day long with those fixtures. He has to.
He does. Yeah, I think you're right. He does, but he's still hard to judge. Like, he's obviously like much improved, but he's not super consistent. I just think he's also feels though like he's got this fire inside him at the moment to make the most of opportunities. Obviously, he had an international break where he's really picked up some confidence, and he wants to make this role his own. And Liverpool are convinced that 2024 is the year that Darwin really does become like the next level. Like they're saying that there is a genuine feeling inside Liverpool that Darwin Núñez will become a 30-goal a season scorer. And we need to see that coming through. And this month could be that moment. So it's not a bad call.
Gakpo came on started number 9 last night, and a few in the chat saying watch out. The game Darwin misses, we know it will be Gakpo that plays number 9, and that's fine. But Gakpo's also played in the midfield 3. He's also played out wide on the left. Bearing in mind there's no Jota, Luis Diaz probably can't play 3 sets of 90 in the next 6 days, in the 3 and 6. So again, Gakpo will feature on the left-hand side as well. When he scored his good goal last night, he scored a tap-in, playing number 9. His better goal was from the left. I'm not worried about when both are fit. Darwin is clear and obviously the starting number 9 at that football club. And the front 3 is clear and obvious. It's Diaz left, Darwin 9, Salah right. So, yeah, I'm tempted to take that punt. It's a 50-50. It's probably going to go down to Saturday morning. I'll put it on my Instagram. I'll put it on social, what I do. It's either that or I just carry the second transfer. But Diaby to Mbomo is definitely a move I'm making. And then my benching dilemma here, and I'm pretty set I'm going to do this. I'm benching Matty Cash, who's clearly a defender with tons of upside. I'm benching Lascelles, who I think could keep a clean sheet against Man United at home, to play Charlie Taylor. Charlie Taylor is in the 11 because if ever there was a time Taylor was going to keep a clean sheet, Sheffield United at home is the best fixture I could ask for Taylor. I'm just going to play him this week. I'm going to do it. 6 points, surely, this week. Burnley are a much better team than Sheffield United in terms of playing football. They'll have all the possession. They've been unfortunate in recent weeks. I can see a 2-0 victory here for Burnley.
Wow. That's
bold. Am I crazy there, Dean? Should I be playing Matty Cash?
No, I think
Bournemouth will score.
Yeah, I think Bournemouth will, from what we've seen recently. And at some point, Burnley have to turn in a clean sheet and a win. And if you can't back them now, then when can you? And what's the point of having him? So, I think this is a great moment to get value out of him. This is what he's in your squad for and your team for. It's a fantastic opportunity to get points that other people aren't going to get.
Yeah. Great. All right. Well, let's stick with that. That's how I'm looking. 50-50 on Watkins, Darwin. I'll let you know on my Insta on Saturday morning. Guys, let's have a look at your team. This is the Chaser team. And there's over 200 of you watching right now. Thank you for joining. I'm at Stockley Park. That's pretty cool. I'm not in the referee's room, but it's not too far away from me, apparently. um, uh, this is your team. It's a good squad. It's always a good squad when you don't have Haaland. Like, you know you're going to have a full bench, and we've got luxury picks here. We do have 2 free transfers. I need some options in the chat as to what it is we should even be voting for our transfers. CH says, would you play double Arsenal or Newcastle defence? Or neither. We'll try and answer that later, CH. Let us know where you think we should look for in terms of transfers. Are there any weak links in this team? I think let's assume Watkins is fit.
Yeah.
I can't see a weak link other than I think Matty Cash eventually has to be sold.
Yeah.
Not necessarily this week, but he has to be sold for the next 3. So that's we don't want to burn it. We don't want to lose a transfer. The other one is a goalkeeper transfer. Like, has patience run dry with Areola? I mean, you could even keep Areola and go Turner to Kelleher.
Yeah.
Oh no, shit! We've not got the money. Oh yeah, we have. Kelleher's 3.9.
Yeah, Kelleher's this. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like you say, like these 3 games that are showing up for everyone, like this is the next week. So like we've got a really good indication on screen here of like how to measure all of this squad up. And like you've got to just take out the 2 assets. Like you say about Mike Cash, I think he should be an option anyway. And then you look at the 3 fixtures and you see he's got City and Arsenal coming up. And I think it's another reason to actually seriously consider getting rid of him for this week. Also, like consider like what team you're thinking of putting out here. Is it a 3-4-3 or 3-5-2? What are the best combinations, not just for this week, although mainly, but for the next game week as well? Like, is there any of those that you would want to lose out on? I mean, there's some.
What about Haaland, mate? We haven't even spoken about Haaland. We got 2 free transfers. We could get Haaland in.
You could get there.
You in the chat have said you could go Watkins out, Haaland in, and very easily get the money out of a Son or a Saka, and then Alvarez as well. Like, you could go Haaland in for Alvarez, and then Saka or Son down to an enabler. And this squad could do with a 4.5 or a 5 million midfielder that sits on the bench. Like, at the moment, every week we have a benching nightmare. So shall we poll that in the chat? Shall we use our 2 free transfers to accommodate Haaland? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, then we'll think about how we do it. If the answer is no, we'll then look at a simple move like a cash out or a Areola out.
Yeah, let's try and do that. I'm still trying to figure out what's Haaland 14 mil?
So expensive, yeah.
Like, even if you add up Son and Alvarez,
we're going to need him at some point.
You're going to struggle to get anyone in for the midfielder. But anyway, we'll have a look at it.
Yeah, Son and Alvarez out would give us the poll is up. Do vote. That would give us 16.6
plus 1 in the 0.1 in the bank, so 16.7, and then you can spend 14 on Haaland, and you haven't got enough to actually.
It'd have to be Watkins and Son, then, wouldn't it?
So it would have to be Watkins and Son to actually get someone in, I think. Yeah.
So we'd sell Watkins for 8.2, Son for 9.5. So let's say, what's that? That's 18.2 minus the 5, 17.7, 17.8. So 14, 15, 16, 17.
3.8. Can you even do that?
I don't know.
Is there a 3.8 mid in the game?
No, 4.3 is the cheapest mid. We'd have to take a hit. We'd have to take a hit. We'd sell Watkins, Son, and then probably downgrade like a Trippier or something. Or a Cash. I guess Cash.
This is a big change. This is a big change. Henry said you go Haaland and Palmer.
Oh my God, the chat want to do Haaland in. Right, this is going to be chaos. All right, guys, give us your suggestions. Start doing the math.
You lot set yourselves up for this, but silly week.
I thought they were going to vote no.
Honestly, like, what are you all doing?
Okay, we're going to go Haaland. That's what you voted for. CH says, oh my goodness. I can see CH now. Oh my goodness. Right. Okay, we're going to who do we sell? Guys, let us know who you want to sell and how you want to do it. I'm telling you where the money has to come out to make it work in terms of I give you one player. It makes complete sense to sell Watkins because he's the most expensive of the front line. So we're gonna if we sold Son and Watkins, just to confirm, that gives us a balance of 17.7 plus the one in the bank, 17.8. That gives us 3.8 million on a midfielder. So we could do that, and then we could downgrade a cash to a. Yeah, we could do that. Okay. I think it needs to be Watkins out, Son out, cash out, and then we can make it work by going, say, Haaland with a enabler in one of those positions. So you could do Haaland and Palmer and then go like a 3.8 defender, or you could do Haaland and a good defender, like maybe a 4.5 defender, and then the midfielder spot for Son can be a dead spot, a 4.3 dead spot.
Yeah, you're going to have artistic license here to take the lead, even though it's their team. You've got to come up with some very clear indicators of how this can even be done. But Son out is in this moment. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think a lot of people. It says 38% owned at the moment. I don't believe that will be the case by this weekend, and I think if he doesn't score against City, even more people are going to be ditching him after this weekend for the next two. So I don't think this is a bad time to actually get rid of that and to replace him with Haaland, who's got, yes, Tottenham, but then Villa and Luton coming up. Like it's like a necessity, it feels like.
We'll do a poll then. My suggestion, we'll forget about the players in other than Haaland. My suggestion was Watkins, Son, and Cash out. Yes or no? Let's poll that. And then if the producer can let me know how much that gives us to spend, that'd be amazing after Haaland. So yes or no on the three players we're selling. We'll just give you the combination of all three. If you say no, we'll find a different combination. Cash, Watkins, and Son, the three to go. Yes or no? I'm just looking now. The cheapest defender, so we know with our budgets, you can get defenders for 3.9. I don't know if you can for 3.8. No, 3.9 is the best spot. And actually, Mengi at Luton is a starter. Dean, you were telling us about Mengi recently. So, and Bell is a starter, and Baldock's a starter. So
they all play, so it's fine.
We've got enablers there. And then in midfield, I think you can go down to a 4.3, although you don't have starters. You do at 4.4, though. So we can make something work, guys. Absolutely. Watkins Son cash out of the team? Yes or no? Get voting. 58% of you think that is the best route so far. So I think we'll give that a couple more votes and then we'll call that. And then we'll start thinking about how we do it. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. We got to our magical 50 number. So that's who we're going to be selling, Dean. Watkins is gone.
Thank goodness
Son is gone.
Had it sorted.
And Cash is gone. Wow. Okay.
Dave says this is fun watching you work it out. That's like me trying to work out my transfers most weeks. It's funny. Yeah, we are literally sat here like just completely on the fly.
If we do Haaland and Palmer, because Palmer's been rising in price, that only leaves us with 3.5 for defender. So that doesn't work. So maybe, are there any other midfielders under Palmer that we want? Or do we just allow that to be a dead spot and buy a 4.4 and then buy a better defender? So let's have a look. We're going to look at the midfielders under 5 million. We can go for
You can go Garnacho.
Nice. You go Souček, Garnacho. How much is Garnacho? 4.9?
4 points. I think it was less than that, isn't he? He was 4.7 last week.
Was he? Garnacho could be fun. I mean, he scored again in the week. Should we poll that? Do we want Garnacho?
Let's just check his price. I can't. We can't trust me. Garnacho, 4.7. That's actually surprised myself. But Garnacho at 4.7 is a decent call.
Okay, so if we go Garnacho, I think that gives us an extra 0.5 to play with on the Palmer spot. So that would give us 4 million for a defender, of which we know there's plenty of options at 4.0, 3.9 even. So
everyone's saying Souček is the problem, but
what they think we should go for Souček. We can't afford
Souček. In the chat, most people are saying Souček, but it's 4.9.
Yeah, 4.8 is the most we can spend. So we can't go Souček if we want to buy a defender. Elanga,
people putting their thumbs down at Garnacho, but like, let's bear in mind, like, he's not going to be in the team. Like,
he's going to be our first sub every week.
He's going to be the first sub. So like,
Elanga's too expensive as well.
Yeah,
we've got 4.8 to spend. There's very few options at 4.8 and below, guys. Like, I'll give you another couple of options. McTominay's 4.8. No, I'd rather go Garnacho. Sander
There's
Berge and
really
Ollie
not
Norwood.
like
Like, yeah, Garnacho is the best option. Or
Garnacho starts every game and he's part of a team that has potential. Go on.
if we don't go Garnacho, we can go to a dead spot, a 4.3 or a 4.4 that starts, and then spend more at the back. So let's do Garnacho, yes or no in the poll. Elanga's 5 million, I'm afraid, guys. We can't spend that on a mid. Mr. Eyebrows Garnacho says British 87. Why not Sal Alvarez? Guys, you voted. You didn't want to say Alvarez. You wanted the combo of Watkins out.
Yeah.
Also, Alvarez, there isn't a huge amount of money in that. So let's do it. Let's poll quickly if we can poll, if you guys can vote for Tavernier. How much is he? Tavernier? Tavernier? Don't know how to pronounce it.
Tavernier, I think, yeah.
He's going to be under 5. Surely. He's not going to be under 5, is he? 5.4, guys, come on. Do we go Garnacho, yes or no? If you vote no, we'll go for a dead spot. If you vote yes, we'll go for him, obviously. Oh, looks like we're going yes, Dean. Good shout.
Nice.
All right, so we're going Garnacho. That's done. So how much does that give us for a defender, Mr. Producer? I think that gives us 4 million, but I could be wrong. That's me working
4.1, he says.
Oh, 4.1.
We got 4.1.
So,
all right.
Defenders at 4.1 include... we got Branthwaite. I mean, this is going to be a bench option. We got Van Heck at 4. I'd probably just go to the 3.9 million guys. So there's pretty much no one at 4.1. That's. I mean, I'd go Mengi or Bell or Baldock. I think. Let us know in the chat if you've got any options under 4.1 that you want us to include in a poll, and we will do a poll for that, guys. Lascelles. How much is Lascelles?
Oh.
Can we afford Lascelles?
I think so.
He's 4.1, and I think going up in price tonight.
Yeah. Lascelles is nice.
Oh, yeah, Lascelles, easy.
Lascelles, Garnacho, and Haaland to come in. I mean, that is...
It's not bad,
that's great.
Is it?
That's decent.
Not bad considering, yeah. A few are saying Taylor. How much is Taylor? We could do a poll, Lascelles or Taylor. Taylor does have a good... He's 4.0, yeah.
Oh, 4.0, yeah.
All right, let's do a poll on that one. 51% said Garnacho in the end. That did get tight. Everyone seems to want
Garnacho.
We'll poll it, guys. Lascelles or Taylor?
Yeah, Taylor's not a bad shout. I think I'd personally take Lascelles at this point, but you've got Taylor in your team, so...
Yeah, I think I'd go Lascelles as well. I mean, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to have a headache. So the team we're looking at, guys... It's slightly different, right? It's got no Watkins, no Son, no Cash. It does have, however, Haaland, Garnacho, who I think we probably make first sub this game week. And then it also has at the back now, we're going to go Lascelles by you guys voting. So I don't think we need to do too much with who starts, who doesn't. We're going to be benching. Everyone's going to say start Simicast, Gabriel, and Trippier. Bench will be Branthwaite, Lascelles, and Garnacho. We'll do Garnacho first sub. I don't think there's going to be any swing on that, so we're not going to vote to save time. We've got against the obvious coming up. Stay tuned for that. We should vote for captaincy though. Do you want to captain Salah or Haaland? Let's give you the option in the next poll, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that. In the meantime, just to fill a gap here, Christopher Nkunku could make his debut for Chelsea this weekend. So he could
have a little 10 minutes off the bench.
He could feature off the bench and give us the first flash of what we're going to be getting
in
the second half of this season. It's just come out of the presser.
Amazing.
So it's just been said by Poch he's going to assess him, but says, what was the exact quote? He says, we need to assess tomorrow and then decide. Him and Lavia are both very close. Lavia is the more difficult one. So it actually sounds for Nkunku like he might get a spot on the bench against Brighton. And if he's on the bench, I'd be very surprised if we didn't see him for 10 minutes. And then we've got a real nice one to weigh up for when we all shuffle around our teams again after Christmas.
Nice. Dean, have a look on Twitter. I've just tagged you on something. FPL Keeper, who's watching, says if FPL content creators were pop stars, and he's posted an image of me and you with two well-known pop stars from years gone by. I've tagged PGA as well. So if you guys want to see that image, Chasing Green Arrows can perhaps give a retweet on that image right now, and then you'll
Blimey.
be able to see it.
Blimey, look at us.
It's because you're fresh out the shower, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking all fresh today
Yeah.
and gone bare chest with a leather jacket in that picture. Well, maybe if we have a CGA Christmas do, mate, maybe that'll be us.
Well, we can with our jars from our super chat earlier.
We'll have a jar
Christmas
each
do.
and we'll have our leather jackets on.
Guys, thank you so much for watching today. That was loads of fun doing the polls. Hit the like button and subscribe. Let's see where this Chaser team gets to. We've brought in Haaland. We went without him on wildcard. It was a silly decision, but we've rectified it. We're now going to go without Watkins. So we've still got some nice differentials in the respect that Darwin is still there. We've got Gordon. We've got Alvarez as a nice Man City big combo. You've also voted to captain Haaland. So we've gone big on Man City attack. We've still got Trippier, which is quite nice. Very few have got Trippier and Haaland. So we're looking good this game week. We're looking good. Let's move on, though, because we've got against the obvious. Dean and I are going to give you reasons why not to pick two big names, and then we've got some quick fire questions. Let's go.
Oh, gotta be you.
Oh, okay. Right. 60 seconds worth of reasons. Now let's go. Why not to buy or to even play Matty Cash this week? Genuinely, I'm not 100% sure he starts because last time out, he got hooked at half time and they looked so much better against Spurs second half. They played Ponza at right back. Now Carlos is fit. Could be Carlos centre back alongside Pau Torres with Ponza at right back, Tielemans in front of him. And I'm not 100% confident on a Cash start. Even if he does start, do Bournemouth score, yes or no? Well, Bournemouth beat Newcastle 2-0 last time out at home. I absolutely fancy Bournemouth to score. So I'd be okay going without Cash. I don't think he's necessarily a hard sell this week, but definitely someone I'm happy or okay about benching. Next week, however, he's about to play Arsenal, Man City at home. There's better defenders in the game. You're going to be selling him anyway. That ownership, 29.4, is going to be dropping like a lead balloon. I guarantee it. So time for me, I think, to be selling this week, if not next.
Very good, very good. Good argument to put up against one of your own players. So that's cleared that up. Yeah, I think a few people will probably be with you there. Let's cross over to my against the obvious. Here he is, Phil Foden. Oh, I've considered him. Go on, start the clock. Look, when Man City played against RB Leipzig in midweek, they were dead and they were brought to life by Phil Foden. Like, he was brilliant. Yeah. And at 7.5 million, he remains a good FPL option. And I mean, obviously, like, you love Foden. You go there quite often. I'm just never convinced in him. And the reason I'm not going to go there, because I do think this is becoming an obvious player that you need to start contemplating. Yeah. But at 7.5, there are just so many other players that have either already scored better than him or are going to. And Mbomo, Jared Bowen, Gordon, Diaby, I'd say Raheem Sterling, Hwang at Wolves. I think they're all better picks right now than Phil Foden. And I think that there's just not enough going for him to say that he comes into your team. He's brilliant. I have always have him on my watch list. But at the moment, I just can't convince myself to go there.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, there we go.
Nuclear says Foden's not even that highly owned. It's not. This isn't against the obvious. Isn't necessarily like obviously everybody's got it in the team, because if that was the case, we only pick people that were highly owned. We couldn't do this every week because we've run out of players. Like, we've done all the obvious players, so we have to find players that are coming into form. And Phil Foden, if you watched Man City in the second half the other day, is an obvious player to be looking at right now to get into your team. But I'm saying, well, we have to go against that a bit, that feeling, because there are other players that are same price or cheaper that are better picks.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's raving about what you did in the week. And Nuclear, you're right, the ownership's not high, but genuinely, I'm looking at Phil Foden for the Palace and Luton fixtures in 2 weeks' time. So definitely topical. Guys, thank you so much for watching and liking. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Let's do some quick fire questions, shall we? We've got a couple of minutes left. Let's do a couple of quick fires. So, Dean, I've just looked at my route to the travel.
We got to answer. Yeah, go on.
Oh, go on.
I was going to say, it's finally getting his question answered here. Should I take a -4 from Bromo?
Oh,
yes, go for it. Go for it, mate.
Oh, was that a gun? Right.
Yeah.
Just looked at my route to the travel lodge. Not gonna lie, it's walking distance, right? Where I am now to the travel lodge. It's walkable. The drive there is 33 minutes and 15 miles. Because it's the M4, I've got to go all the way. Bearing in mind, I'm on the edge of M25. I've got to go all the way into past Brentford to the Brentford Community Stadium and then back on the M4 and out. Just because it's like on the M4 westbound, so I've got to go.
Mate,
it's ridiculous.
Honestly,
I'm like, what? I'm not doing that.
This is why I don't like leaving my house. 90% of my work now is from home, and I dread the day that's not the case, and I have to start going out and about again. Like, that is just silly.
Look at the blue dot and then the red pin. That's where I need to get to. The red pin. I'm at the blue dot. I've got to go all the way into London and back out.
That is crazy.
It's like walking distance. I might try and like find a street to park on, leave my car there and just walk 10 minutes.
Just walk. You can't. Yeah, mate. That is absolutely ridiculous. What a waste of time.
Anyway.
Yeah, crazy.
Please don't laugh. Who's first on my bench? Mengi or Bulldog? Oh, Zaid. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to need him. Toss a coin.
I'm a Bulldog man. Isn't Bromo a must buy? Well, I haven't bought him, but everybody else has, so probably, yeah.
He's bloody close to one if he's not. Sean, Odegaard, when you consider fixtures in last season, Hall? Nah, I just prefer Saka and Martinelli.
Yeah, but this is the thing with Arsenal's. This is the problem with that midfield option. We don't know who to trust yet, and it might be that Odegaard is the one that weighs in with the goals. We just don't know. Matthew says play Hwang or Anderson for a fourth defender. Play Hwang. Like, Hwang is a brilliant option. I know that the fixture doesn't look great, knowing that they're going to Arsenal. Like, Wolves have the capability to go to Arsenal and score a goal, and then he's got really good fixtures coming up after that as well. But even this week, I think Hwang is a good pick.
Yeah, like Hwang's, and the penalties are there too. Remember, guys, we like penalties. Good question though. Is it worth a -4 to sell a Dingra for Palmer? Yeah, maybe it is. You know, if they're in your 11, obviously if Palmer's going to be on your bench anyway, no, carry that to next week. But if they're going to be in your 11 long term, I think you want Palmer. And I do like that fixture against Brighton, and we mentioned that earlier. So that's a good one. Like, back from Athens, they're going to be tired and they're down to the bare bones.
Totally, yeah. By the way, I've just found, I knew I had a Hwang stat. I'm going to dig it out here for 1 second because it was, it's worth pointing out. Only Mo Salah has scored or assisted a goal in more different Premier League games than Hwang this season. Wow. So Hwang genuinely is such a good option, and it doesn't matter what the fixture is. So just remember that when you're contemplating him. CH, double Newcastle or Arsenal defence, or neither. If I would, on the back of me saying Hwang's a good pick, I would go with double Arsenal defence.
Yeah, I think so. Play Alvarez or Taylor or Anderson. I mean, I like to back the attacking player. So Alvarez, I mean, Taylor does have the week for a 6-pointer, but Alvarez could go and get 2-3 attacking returns. You just never know.
Yeah, absolutely. Miles says no Arsenal defender currently. Buy Gabriel or Tsimikas for this week. Or, I mean, for this week, Tsimikas is probably the pick for this week. I like, as much as I don't want to admit it, Liverpool clean sheet and a Tsimikas assist is a good chance.
Yeah, I think I'd go there too.
He had a great shot that hit the bar last night as well. Like, amazing strike.
Left foot has just hit the ball so well. Martinelli, I'd just keep Martinelli another week if you've got him, Bemo, unless you want Palmer.
Yeah, I think so. Right, is Saliba still a great buy for either Gehi or Cash? Either him, Tsimikas, or Pinnock, or maybe just use one transfer and roll the other. But my defense is shaky. I mean, is Saliba better than Gehi or Cash right now? Yeah, he is. So feel absolutely confident in doing that.
Guys, get us to 100 likes. Come on, hit the like button if you haven't already. What would you do with Jesus an option in the coming game weeks? Yeah. Keep a close eye. I still am not sure he's going to be ready to play 90-90-90. The fixtures come thick and fast. Not one for me yet. Also, he said recently he's not very good at goal scoring. He was like, that's... I was like, oh, shame that. You're a number 9. Yeah. So great player. I love Jesus, but I've never really seen him as a very good FPL asset because of his lack of finishing.
Yeah, fair enough. Mark says, who's more likely to score, Wolves at Arsenal or Spurs at City? That Spurs going to City game could have a lot of goals in it. The last 4 Premier League meetings between these two teams at the Etihad have seen 17 goals. They've averaged over 4
Right.
goals a game between them. Each of Spurs' last 4 league games have seen at least 3 goals. Like, it's very likely that Tottenham do actually manage to score at Man City.
Yeah, okay, I like that. Good questions coming in. Mark, who's more likely to score? Wolves at Arsenal, Spurs City. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Bowen to Palmer or Doku. Oh, Doku is a fun pick.
Oh, he's a fun pick, yeah.
I'd be tempted on Doku, you know. Short term. It depends if you want a long term hold, you go Palmer. If you want to have fun for a couple of weeks before City blank in 18, you go Doku.
Yeah, right. Last couple. Watkins and Hwang out for Isak and Umbomo on a -4. I don't think I would do a -4 on that, Nuclear. I don't think I would do that.
No, I wouldn't. I like Hwang, and if Watkins is injured, yeah, of course you do. But maybe you go Darwin and Mbomo. Last question from Mohammed: am I crazy going Song captain this week? Yeah, I think you are. Saka's an option if you want to go outside the big two, and Bomo's an option if you want to go outside the big two. Man City at home are so good. Look, Son's still a good pick, but he's not a captain option this week. Guys, sorry if we haven't been able to answer all your questions. I might try, depending on the Watkins news, I might try and stream on my channel later if I can get on Wi-Fi, if I can even find this hotel, and if I can park somewhere. Like, I've just looked, all the streets around it are like permit only, so I don't even know how I'm going to drive
it's such
there.
a bad area of London for that. It really is.
Because people try and pull a fast one and park on streets for Heathrow, don't they?
Exactly.
So yeah,
Good
keep your
luck,
eyes
mate.
peeled. I'll try and stream in a couple of hours on my channel from if I'm bored in my hotel room and have Wi-Fi. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button on your way out, and if you're just joining, go back and watch the last hour. You've missed a good stream. Dean, we'll be back on Monday, I guess. There's no games on Monday, is there?
Don't think so. I think we're back Monday.
Don't think we've got a Monday night football. No, we haven't. And we've obviously got a Tuesday deadline. So even more reason to tune in to us on Monday lunchtime, guys.
Be a good one.
Real, for now, we'll say goodbye. He's been Dean, I've been Gianni, and we've been chasing green arrows.